You can also sort elements using jQuery UI with the sortable method. It's more geared towards lists, so sorting lists, but you can also use the sortable method with other HTML elements. But like I said, the user experience is more kind of tailored to and makes the most sense when you're wanting to sort lists. Like a list item. So, like say if you had a to-do list and you wanted to drag your list from to-do to done. It's kind of like Trello, for example, if you've ever used Trello. I use it all the time. And if you want to drag your item from one card to another card, that's pretty much using the jQuery UI Sortable. In fact, they're probably using the sortable method and have jQuery UI built in. Or you may want to just reorganize your list from, say if you said reorganize this list to your favorite to least favorite, and you could just reorganize things so you could just have a sortable list. Now, that's what we're going to do here. So I've added the sortable.html file here. Again, download that, pull it right from the final course files you download at the beginning of the jQuery UI section, and just paste it in there because we're going to be working with a couple lists and some very specific HTML. So add that in there, and same thing, copy the new stuff into your styles.css, or if you've done what I recommended, just take the final styles.css in the course files and just pull it into your new jQuery UI directory so you never have to worry about the CSS ever, because I've added a lot of CSS here that is specific to this lecture, and you're going to need it for the best user experience and to be able to follow along in this lecture. And all the lectures for that matter. So basically, this is what we're going to be working with. Currently, it doesn't work, but you can see that there are some specific CSS things happening. And I've just done that for a better user experience. I could have just shown you this with just a basic list, an unordered list, and it would have just been plain HTML, and it would have done the same thing, but it wouldn't have looked as good. So I spent some time styling this up so it actually kind of looks like Trello. For example, when you hover over a list item, it kind of gives you a little bit of a hover feedback. And if you click on the element, it will go darker and kind of rotate sideways using the CSS3 transform property. And this is basically exactly what Trello does. And so we're just going to do a little kind of Trello sort of thing here. Now in your script.js, we're going to be working with sortable, and this is pretty straightforward. We need to select the HTML here, sortable, this ID. I'm going to be selecting that. Could be a class as well. And we just need to say selecting the sortable ID, and then use the sortable method. And that will make that list sortable. So refresh and check it out. There you go. Now you can reorganize that list. And that is pretty cool. Now you can see this one won't work because we haven't made this list item sortable because it has a different ID. If these two had the same class, then they both would have worked. But the reason I want them different is because I'm going to show you how to connect the lists. So say this is a to-do list, and that is a done list. And we wanted to drag this one into this list and this one back. Well, all you really need to do is just add extra parameters here using the curly braces in between the parentheses and say connect with colon, and then in strings, the ID or the class you're connecting to. So sortable 2, this one is connecting to sortable 2. And if you see in the HTML here, this one is called sortable 2. And save. Now let's see what happens. So you could see it's not doing what you want it to do. And this one isn't working as a sortable item either. Now, the reason why is because you need to make this list sortable as well. So just copy what you've done here and paste. So this one will be sortable 2. And I'm just going to remove this for now, and we'll see what happens. There you go. You can drag your list items into that other one, and you can reorganize these as well. And you can reorganize these, but you can't drag these back into the original list. And that might be good. Maybe you want to do that. But if you don't, all you need to do is just add the connect with as well and tell jQuery UI what you want it to be connected with. Sortable. There we go. So now I can go back and forth between the two, organizing the list in whatever way I want. And you can reorganize them together, sort them together, and sort them side by side. You can do whatever you want there. So that's pretty cool. Now, what if you wanted to have like a placeholder where you have an empty space So you can see there's a blank spot there. But what if you wanted a bit of a visual feedback to where you can drop that item? Well, you just need to add the placeholder argument or parameter here. So I'm going to say comma, placeholder, colon, and then give it a class, placeholder box. And that is a class that I have created. Make sure you close that string in CSS. So it will do those styles. So you just need to create a class, style it in CSS, and then let's see what it looks like. There we go. We have a placeholder box. And you can see it happens on this side too. But now if you use this list, it won't have that placeholder. And that's because we didn't add this to this statement. Now, if you want to be more efficient, you could have added a class and said class sortable, and then do the connect with and the placeholder, and you could have done a little less code, but this is essentially how it works. Now both will have the placeholder either side of where you drop that list item. And so that is how the jQuery UI sortable method works.